Hi.
Hi. Just breathe through it. Take a deep breath.
I feel like this is the
It
first time we've really talked today.
has it?
Kinda.
I mean, well, here we are, last minute Monday morning for you guys. Yeah, we are. The struggle, the
Couple more
struggle, the
weeks.
struggle is real.
Couple more weeks of all the chaos, and
Okay,
then we'll be back to our normal scheduled programming.
if you are a parent out there, we are 2 months deep into summer. How are you doing? I'm checking in on you. Like,
Truly.
how are you doing? How are you feeling? Are you just like, yeah, life is good. My kids have been at summer camp,
Or
summer
life is good, my
daycare.
kids have been at home.
Yeah, life is good. My kids have been at home.
Are you that kind of
Are
parent?
you home with, like, tell us, because I feel as if we are, we're like worn down.
We've we've hit E, and I think we've been trying to run on E for a solid week, if not a little longer.
It feels like a summer camp at our house.
Yeah.
It feels like a summer camp, and we are constantly trying to find things to keep kids entertained or in line, fed, happy.
Well, and just
All of
things
the
to keep
things.
ourselves sane too in the process,
Yeah.
because it's a lot to entertain.
Yeah.
It's like you said, constant summer camp, but we're not being paid to do it. And then we're going to work to get it's a whole.
And I also want to say, like, if I hear a motherfucker start saying like, "Well, those are your kids," blah, blah, we have a lot of them. We have every right to feel this way and complain a little bit. There are a lot of them. There are always about 6 to 7 kids in our house,
at least
every single day, 6 to 7 kids. And I was trying to explain to a friend yesterday, like, who doesn't have kids. I was like, but she has a dog. And I was like, imagine if you had 7 dogs running around your house, needing to burn energy, wanting treats,
but
always
even
wanting
that
food.
doesn't compare, because dogs can be crated for a couple hours and then you can leave. And
can we not crate kids?
No, I think that's frowned upon. I had a friend also talk to me recently and tell me that they were going somewhere and they were going to have to crate their dog for the day, and I jokingly wrote back and was like, if only I could crate my kids for the day. Sounds bad, but like, truly.
But like, sit still.
Instead, you have to hire a babysitter and pay the money. And so,
I mean, you have to pay, like, dog sitter. Like, a doggy daycare is expensive, I think.
But for a couple hours away, you can crate a dog for free.
But just think about anytime somebody wants to go on vacation and they got to pay, like, some high dollar for, like, a full week of, like, take your dog to daycare. And from what I understand, it can be kind of traumatic for the dog. I'm just saying, I'm trying to play devil's advocate. I'm trying to see both sides of it, of, like, I mean, every situation is a little bit just, you have your moments. You have your moments where you feel really put together, where you feel really excited, like, I planned something great, this is going to be a fun time. And then you have your moments where, just like with anything, like everything's a cycle, right? Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. There's moments where I absolutely love my job and I feel very successful and proud of everything I do, and then there's other moments where I hate my job and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I don't belong in corporate. I don't belong around these people. I need to get the hell away from all of this. I don't belong here. I'm better than this. And I think it's okay to, as parents, to openly discuss and talk about situations, whether it's postpartum depression or you're just fucking beat down from your kids. You don't understand the brain rot conversations they're having, the Gen Z.
They speak in different languages.
They do. And we're just like,
huh?
Like, bumbleclot. Like, say that one more time. If you say bumbleclot one more time, I'm gonna knock your head off.
Yeah, I think it's a roller coaster, and there's good moments and there's harder moments, and I don't know. I think for me, motherhood lately has been heavy on my mind, and I kind of had like a breakdown yesterday when we were talking about it, just because, like, well, we recently saw a video of a creator, talking about how she had intentionally given up custody of her kids.
Signed over her custody rights.
She was okay with it, and she was explaining why she didn't want her kids back, and had all of these solid reasons as to why she did not want to step into motherhood again, and she was at term, she was good with all of it. And it made me start to think about some of the things that she said regarding just like the expectation put on mothers versus the expectation put on fathers versus the judgment that comes along with it when you don't match all of the boxes that everybody kind of assumes should be checked by a mother versus a father. um,
Mm-hmm.
or like we've talked about many times before, how it's automatically assumed that the mother's going to be the one that steps in and raises the children.
Mm-hmm.
And while that works for lots of people, I'm sure, I think that it's just becoming very clear to me that there's nothing wrong with being the type of person to admit that maybe you weren't actually cut out for it, or not,
Mm-hmm.
maybe not cut out for it, because I think anybody can like force themselves to do something that they might not want to, right?
Right.
But like, that's not what you truly want. It doesn't bring you real true happiness, or like you don't feel accomplished at the end of the day. While
Mm-hmm.
some moms can be like, oh my God, I did XYZ, took care of my kids, kept them alive, we went here, we went there, I feel so accomplished. I think there's other moms or parents that are like, yeah, I did a shitload of stuff and I still don't feel a thing. I don't
Mm-hmm.
feel like I did anything.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, I just ran around in circles trying to like calm the chaos all day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you play like referee, you're trying to keep things calm, you're trying to keep kids fed.
It's like
And
cook, clean, entertain, cook, clean, entertain.
and it's like it's just a like continuous, revolving door of like a cycle of just like it doesn't, like the second you get from to one thing and you're like, I can breathe for a minute, it's already on to the next thing. And I think, for a minute, like I even had a moment yesterday when it was like I was it was dinner time and I was putting the plates down in front of the kids for dinner because it's like a cafeteria assembly line. And before I could even put the plate down, my son was asking me like what the next activity is. And I was just like ready to lose my shit because I'm like, just focus on one thing. Just eat your food. Let's get through a meal. Like, let's just get through a meal before we're already talking about the next thing we're going to run off and do. Because like we are dragging right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm in this interesting place in my life where I don't blame my kids for anything, because they're kids and kids are going to be kids and kids are going to piss you off and they're going to do things that you're like, what the fuck were you thinking? And all the things, right? Because that's what children do. That's how they grow up. But I'm also in this place where I'm like, at this, I've found this peace with the fact that I'm kind of selfish with like what I choose to do with my time these days, and how for me I justify it in a way, and I'm sure a lot of people would disagree, but I justify it in a way of like, I started all of this at 17 fucking years old. Like I was just a baby, and
somewhat manipulated into having children.
Truth be told, my first was born on birth control, and I was basically told I had no choice. And at the time, again, baby, listening to who I was supposed to listen to, was, yes, manipulated into having children. And that's not my only kid that was born on birth control. That's not the only situation that, like, I didn't really ask for and I was just kind of like thrown into. And while I take full responsibility for all of it, and I stepped up and I did what I needed to do, I spent 15 years doing it. And while I'm not done being a mother yet, I think that I have found this new kind of like version of what kind of mother feels okay mentally for me, to where I don't wake up and I'm like, what the fuck is life? And if that means that I have to kind of like step back and give other people the opportunity to step in, that's the part where I think the guilt ate me alive for a really long time. And everybody always tells you like, it's your job to do this, you're the mom, you need to be here, you're the, and it becomes so like engraved in your thought process of like, if I don't do all of those things, I'm failing as a mother. But I don't think that that's true.
Yeah, and I don't think it's fair. I think, you see like a news story or something, this like tragic story of like a mom driving her car off into a lake, or like doing something tragic, right? Horrific, of from just like losing like the mental stability. And it like it's not talked about enough. It's not talked about it enough. And there's so much pressure on parents, particularly mothers, to manage everything, and to orchestrate everything, and to hold your head up high, and to always have a smile on your face. I mean, how often, I'm sure anybody can raise their hand that you've had some man or person tell you, just smile. Why aren't you smiling?
Yeah, you should really
And
smile more.
you should
It's like,
smile more.
fuck you.
And like, I think the main issue I see is that we are so quick to point out what a mother does wrong, or their shortcomings, or how they could have been better, or their, typical thing would be like, you're sharing a story, has nothing to do with your kids, but the first thing people on social want to know is, where's your kids?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, this mindset of like, let's beat this mom down to make sure she does not feel good enough. They do not feel good enough about themselves. But like, where's the support and help when like we're drowning, And I think I just see I see so many sides of it, and it's like,
well, and it's interesting too because I've lived both lives, right? Like I was the mom that was drowning, literally reaching out to everyone around me, begging someone to just like step in and help. And instead, I got no help. I got basically told that I was fine. Like, you'll be okay, just push through it, was like the reaction that I got. And then down the road, I find out that the people who were like immediate parts of that situation were like, oh yeah, I watched you lose your spark. I watched the light go out in you. And it's like, motherfucker, you watched it. You knew that it was happening, and I was begging for help, and none of you like thought for us that you're lucky I'm here. Truly, you're lucky I'm here. And now I'm on the other side of it where I've said, fuck it, I'm going to be a little bit selfish and do what I need to do. And there's still the people that are like, you're doing, there's, you just can't win. You can't win no matter where you go.
But the interesting thing is that whether it's the grandparents or close relative or somebody, it's interesting how quick those women will jump in and help a dad raise the kids.
Yeah, and like, I don't know if it's like that in every situation, but
I mean, I feel like the motherly love and something was just like, oh, it's just like they need the help.
You want to know what I really think it is? I think it's that women truly, this is going to sound so bad, but this is what I truly believe. Women do not have enough faith in men to do it on their own. And so as their mom, or as their mother-in-law, or maybe their sister, or whatever, or their wife, they step in and do it instead because they don't trust that the man can do it. And while I get it, I also think that men should be put up to bat and be like, you know what? You asked for this too.
You wanted your legacy to carry on. It
takes two to fucking tango, bro. Yeah, you were the one that asked for the kid, or you're the one that wanted to carry on the last name, or, whatever the case may be.
That's your legacy. Ahead. Go for it.
Go do it,
bro. Go for it.
And prove to everyone that you can.
Yeah, 100%. I'm curious also, it's interesting because it's like dads in a lot of cases, especially like in my time growing up, get to be the invisible parent. If it doesn't work out, they get their maybe every other weekend, they live their life, they do their thing. My mom was a single mom of 5 kids. I watched it happen. I watched her struggle, and I watched her lose her shit time and time again, and fucking go crazy. Go, like, we made my mom go crazy. And
I get it.
And I know that for a fact. I watched it, and as a parent today, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, where was the help when she needed it? And that breaks my heart that like I didn't care. And when you realize like kids are selfish.
Kids selfish, but they don't even know that
they don't know selfish. That they don't understand that they're being selfish. But kids, no matter what age they are fucking selfish. They will
suck every last bit right out of you.
You give them an inch, they will take a mile.
Yeah.
You hear that all the time, whatever. And then I think when you finally realize how selfish kids are, and then you start to pull back and you say, you know what, I'm going to be selfish for a minute. You're going to go do this, I'm going to go do this, and you're just going to figure it out. And then it's like this like deer in headlights, like, oh my god, like,
yeah. I think that comes with age too. I think as they get older, it's easier to do that and kind of force it. But I think it's healthy for everyone all the way around.
Yeah, I love teaching my kids to be independent. I want to know if, like, I want to, like, make sure that if I was to just like leave the earth today and my kids were to go on, that I have taught them well enough to be as independent as they can be at the age range that they are, that they can survive without me.
But that's like our whole purpose as a parent, is to teach our kids how to be.
Yeah, I will not enable my children. I will not handhold, like, I will not, like, if we're crossing the street, I'm gonna hold their hand, right? They're little. But, like, I'm not gonna hold their hand through every step of the way. They gotta fall down and learn how to get back up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna teach them how to fall properly and get back up, but I'm not gonna hold their hand. I'm just not.
Yeah.
That's not who I am. But what I was gonna say is, like, you get this other angle of, as being looked at as like two moms in this situation. And on the other side of it, you can have the men yelling, like, they need a father. How are they going to learn to mow the grass? How are they going to learn to do this? They need a man in their life. Um, but then you have two men together in a relationship that want to have children, raising their kids, and then they're beat down. You need a mother. How are you going to do this? How are you going to love your kid? And it's like, it doesn't matter what the fuck the situation is. Somebody's going to say you're doing it wrong. And it's all to like make themselves feel better. In the end, it's all to make themselves feel better. And like in reality, we're all fucked up inside. We're all hurting. We're all stressed. The amount of shit going on in the world today, especially, like, we are not meant to mentally take on this much bad news every single day. Like, there shouldn't be breaking news every fucking hour when it comes to like the government. There just shouldn't. There shouldn't be. Like, we mentally can't take that on. And then you layer on like the price of everything going up, and the with the economy sucking, and like kids just constantly needing more and more and more, draining us. We're working hard, we're trying to make ends meet, we're not, like, we feel like we're not doing a good enough job if we're not like overly productive, and it just keeps like knocking us down a little bit further. And so, like, check in, like, I'm doing a check in, like, how are you guys doing? Like, how are you doing right now, halfway through July already? And like, how are y'all feeling? Because I feel very much on edge. I feel short fused. I feel extremely exhausted. I don't have the energy that I typically have. And there's days where I just sit back and I'm like, is it all worth it? Is it all worth it? Because there's times where I feel like, take me out of the equation, like, I am not needed. Like, I am not needed, and like, set me fucking free. And I know that sounds shitty, and that is something that like I deal with in therapy, of like, why I'm purposefully meant to stay and exist and thrive and continue to grow and find
I think that
happiness
that's
and
stemmed
things.
from a lot more than motherhood, though. I think that's
It
stemmed
stemmed
from a
from
lot of things in
everything.
your life.
It stemmed from everything. But like, people don't openly talk about it. You just like keep your head up, and somebody says, like, the classic, like, you go to work and it's like, happy Monday, how was your weekend? And everybody just says, like, it was good. It was good. And you don't want to share all the other details. And it's like, it's not the place and the time, and they're not your therapist, and you don't want to like trauma dump or like just like unload. But I'm here to say, like, I hear you. I see you. I know that people are hurting right now.
Yeah.
Why are you staring at me?
I just looked at you. You just spit a whole lot.
I'm drinking your coffee.
That was a whole lot of information. Yeah, I don't know. I think as time goes on, and as I learn what kind of mother I was versus what kind of mother I am versus what kind of mother I want to be, um, I'm similar to what I've done in the past when it comes to other situations in my life. I think we can always pave ourselves a new path that doesn't look like what we've seen. It doesn't look like what we're next to. It's ours and ours alone. And you don't have to be the same kind of mom that your mom was. You don't have to be the same kind of mom that your significant other is. You don't have to be the same kind of mom that you thought you were supposed to be, or doesn't feel right, or doesn't feel good, or what the internet thinks that you should be. I think you can figure it out in your own way and shape it and mold it to what feels best for you and your children. And I think as long as you're doing the best that you can, that's good enough. Because There's no set expectation of where each mother should land, and or parent. I should just say parent, because
Yeah.
being a parent is one of the hardest things that anyone will ever do. So,
Yeah, it's the most selfless.
yeah.
And I think, it's a cycle of like sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down, and sometimes you feel like you have it all together and sometimes you don't. And it's that way for me with my children, it's that way for me with my job, it's that way for me with my mental state. Like sometimes you're on top of the world and sometimes you're on the bottom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think also as a woman that goes through hormonal cycles, I think that does play a part. I really do. And that's something I'm learning as I get older too, is that especially now that my life is a bit calmer on the norm, I'm able to track like exactly what changes, right? Like I think I was always in such fight or flight mode before now that I didn't really pick up on the little things. But now I not only notice it in myself, but I notice it in you, and I notice how we interact with each other. And like month to month, there is truly a cycle of changes that you will pick up on that affect everyone and everything. And if you are trying to parent at the same time and already feeling broken down, yeah, you're going to notice it.
Yeah. And I think that just understanding that your cycle can definitely affect your mental state. And like that's for me, like one thing I have to remember is like I do crash and feel very at the bottom. And I have to remind myself like you might want to die this week, but next week you're going to be fucking solid. Like you're going to be good. Just push through. Just keep pushing through.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's downplayed. Women's cycles are downplayed.
Very much, very much. And like our sync, and so like it is like amplified. And I think while not the younger kids, but the older kids have picked up on that, and we've been like
I've been
very like we're like super transparent with them. Like I will straight up tell the boys like I am PMSing hard right now. Like
I've always been open with my boys about that.
Stay out of my way. Stay out of my way right now. Please stay out of my way. Yeah. And I think like raising 8 boys, like it's good for them to understand. It's good for them to understand the cycle of like female anatomy and womanhood and the things that can really knock us down.
Yeah.
Because it's not talked about enough. And that's the thing. It's like it's not talked about enough. It's like this like sweep it under the rug. Your mom's it's crazy month. My first ex-husband used to say that all the time, like, oh, it's crazy month. You're fucking crazy this month.
He says some real stupid shit though.
And yeah, he does.
Full disclosure.
For the longest time I agreed with that. Like I was like, yeah, I guess I'm crazy. I guess I'm like do a witch hunt. Like I'm a fucking
thing,
crazy.
Right? Is that like if we had more compassion for it and people could fucking step back for a minute, and I say people because everybody could do it. If they could step back for a second and see that it's not that we're fucking crazy. It's not that we're angry. It's that we need a little bit more compassion and patience from others. We need our kids to shut the hell up for a minute and leave us alone. We need a walk in the evening. We need to ride our fucking longboard for a minute to clear our head. We need a bath, or we need to be talked to in a gentle way for the day. And
do you think in comparison, let's just pretend the standard the house with the white picket fence, whatever, the standard thing, husband, wife. Wife's in the kitchen cooking, baking. Dad's in the garage tinkering around. And like, wife's keeping it all together, feeding the kids, the family, dinner's on the table, hot, everybody's running in, cleaning up, doing all the things, going through the whole, list of all of the chores and the things that need to be done. And, the man goes off to work, and when he's done, he comes home and he kicks off his shoes and he sits in his lazy boy chair and he leans it back and he cracks a cold one and he hangs out for a while. The kids run up and, Dad, we missed you. And then Mom's still dragging ass, cleaning up the messes, keeping it all together. And then soon, dad's husband's, I'm going to go out in the garage. I got to, try to fix this. It's like, instead of like saying, you know what, honey, go and take a walk, or let's do something together. Let's get a sitter. Like, I can tell you're drained. I can tell you're overworked and you're spread thin. And like this mindset that we've been programmed of like this gender role. And I think because we broke the gender role, the norm for gender role, and there's not a gender role for us. I think we're able to step back and see it and see from like think back even just 10 years ago. TV shows, classic TV shows that you watch, if they aired today, they would never get away with half of the shit they were saying and doing. Marketing, to where it is very like this, these rules of like the woman belongs in the kitchen. The man is the breadwinner and outdo it. And like we've proven that wrong time and time again. We've proven it wrong. And women are now holding higher incomes, doing more, working and holding down the fort at home with the kids and all of the things. I mean, you're working full time, you're managing, a fucking having 5 kids and doing it all and dancing circles around it. But like, it's okay to raise your hand and say like, yeah, and I'm fucking exhausted. I'm at my breaking point and I'm ready for me time.
Yeah. So moving forward next month, I don't know if I've talked about it on the podcast, but I don't have any of my kids for a solid month. By design, I set it up to where my older 2 are going to be with their grandmother in Colorado, and then my younger boys go back to school early. So I'm going to be kid-free completely for a whole month, and that's the first time in my existence as a mother that has ever happened. And I'm really curious, and I'll circle back and let you guys know where my head's at afterward. I'm just curious because I've been through a lot of like little steps in different, like I said, little paths of motherhood, right? I've been through a lot of different ways that can look for me. And not that this is going to be permanent or I'm, whatever, but I'm just very interested to see what I do with that time, how I feel, where my head's at, how my kids do with that time. I have never been away from my older 2 boys for longer than a week and a half. I've never been, anyway, so I'm just, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm really hoping that I have some growth within that month of like self awakening, or like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Trying to find something. Bought a paddleboard, gonna go out on the lake and just exist for hours.
Yeah, we finally broke down and bought the paddleboards. I've been saying it for years, like, I want a paddleboard, and I'm always renting them, and I'm like, what, like, why not just get one? Get the inflatable one, do it, see how, like, see what that brings you. So I'm hoping we get some like serenity.
Yeah. It'll be good.
Anyways, thanks for the vent session. Check in on your parents, your stay-at-home moms, your working moms.
Not only check in, but if you're feeling overwhelmed, find someone to talk to.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, whoever that someone is for you doesn't have to be your husband or your mom or your normal person. Find someone to truly talk to that makes you feel safe, and you can just let it out if you need to.
And if you have no one, if you're like, I don't have anyone, I don't have my family, I don't have any friends, I can't afford a therapist, ChatGPT. ChatGPT as a therapist.
I mean, it works. Yeah.
Like, the compassion is there. You're going to get it regardless, and they're going to want to dig deeper, and trust me on that, because like,
don't be afraid to admit that you're feeling some sort of way. Don't be afraid to show it. Don't be afraid to cry. Don't be afraid to admit that you need help.
Yeah. Talk about it more. Talk about postpartum. Talk about being, spread thin, whether it's with work or like whatever. Just talk about it. Get it out, because it feels better. The more you talk about it, don't hold it in, because you will explode. Like, trust me on that. You will explode. I've exploded. As a child, I watched my mom explode. Like,
yeah, it happens.
It happens.